What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. So I actually bought them to review them, okay? It's funny to me how people just say, I bought them so you don't have to. No, I bought them to review them and to tell you guys which ones are good and which ones are not so much good, okay? So let's go ahead and kick things off with hitting that like and the subscribe button. More importantly, the subscribe button, it helps, recover some of this because it's not cheap. So most of the time, especially if there's something that's more popular, I just buy the newest releases. I've bought, so far in 2024, I'm committed. I'm 100% committed to bringing you guys honest reviews, first impressions, etc. And that's what, if you missed a lot of these, you're gonna get here today, is more so reviews really quickly in the list format and rating which ones are actually worth your money and not. So let's go ahead and start things off with one of the ones that are just looking at me in the face right now, and it's called Eternal Wood by Manera. This is a very rich, dark saffron oudi fragrance with a little bit of sweetness, and it actually reminds me a lot of Haultain. If you enjoy Haultain, you're probably gonna enjoy this one as well. I will say though that it seems like it's a little bit richer and not necessarily in like the best way. It does have like a synthetic, almost extra spice undertone to it, if you will, and that's why I still personally think that Haultain is better. But for being on a budget, this is probably one of the closest things that you'll get. It's as simple as that. It's not really a new scent profile or anything like that. It does have its subtle differences, being, like I said, the richness of the woods. It's not necessarily animalistic, but Haultain does shine in terms of its overall performance and in terms of the overall scent profile and quality. Nevertheless, it is a huge difference in price, period. This one you can pick up for mostly 120 at the most, but mostly on discounters. Check the links down in the description where you can find all those cheapest prices, or just grab it wherever it's cheapest. For the fraction of the price, it is still definitely worth it. It gave me the performance, it lasted for a solid 10 hours, and the projection was pretty strong. It's one of those fragrances where it's like, it's not beastly, and if you overspray it, it comes off cloying. It's too much. So it's not necessarily that it's too much in strength, it's too much in just thickness, overall thickness in the scent, and that's why I called it synthetic like that. Still a good one, and the occasions for this one could be like hanging out with the bros, maybe going to the office, not spraying it too much, dates and special occasions during specifically the fall and the winter time, and that's pretty much it. Not bad, but not the best thing in the world either. So yeah, that's, if you like Haultain and you're looking for one of the cheaper ones, that'll definitely serve its purpose. Moving on to the next one that's looking at me in the face is a little bit of a disappointing fragrance for me. It's called Old Fashioned by Killian, and this is supposed to be a reviver of pure malt, or malt something from Killian from Angel Share. Wow, that's how significant that fragrance was very successful, okay? And there's Angel Share Paradise coming out, which I'm definitely gonna be grabbing. But Old Fashioned smells like that, so it's actually supposed to be recreating Old Fashioned whiskey, so there might be like this, the whole barley or malt. I'm not a drinker, so don't, criticize me on that. A little bit of ignorance when it comes to actual malt processing and making liquor and all that good stuff. Nevertheless, this does smell like, kind of has that wheat barley feeling and vibe, and a lot of resins as it started to dry down. It was very old school. I don't want to say old manny because it smells better than that, but it does smell like somebody who's like 30 and up. And even then, didn't really have too many interesting factors to it. In fact, what it smelled like to me was like if you took apple brandy and stripped away all of the fruits. It's dry, it's simple, but it does smell very high quality. The resins in this one, the dry down was very nice, intoxicating. However, it's not going to be the loudest thing in the world either. I didn't get more than about 6.5 hours total longevity, and I think that that's the way it's designed in its simplicity. And the scent profile, you're gonna be leaving scent trails for like 30 minutes, and then after that, it is like within 1 foot. So overall, I'm not that impressed, but I will say that I would have gotten it anyway for the collection. And if you like those close encounters, it'll still serve its purpose for you. So it really depends on what you want out of your fragrance. This is something that's going to work, absolutely gonna work for like dates, special occasions, and even the office because of its close encounter nature. Seasons for this would be fall and winter time only, and that's pretty much it. It's not the best release of the year by far, but it's still, I mean, there might be a crowd for it. It's not for me, that's it. Moving on to the next one. This earlier on came out in 2024, and it's called Xerjoff's Tony Iommi Deified. Extremely crisp and strong ass saffron and like apple, maybe even some osmanthus, something of that nature. Very polarizing, very polarizing. I love it. I freaking love it. Genuinely. It's crisp, it's attention grabbing, it's saffron, it's really strong and punchy and in your face. Very oriental in the, fruity and crisp way, and most oriental portion of this fragrance is going to be this vanillic style dry down along with that combination of the saffron, and that's as simple as that. Very attention grabbing, very unique and very different. This is one of the fragrances that I'm surprised didn't get as much attention, but can be understandable because of the fact that it's very, very intense and different. And not only that, but it also released during a weird time where it was getting warmer, and I find this one to be best suited for the fall, winter, and early spring times. I definitely think it's one of the best releases of 2024. Absolutely, hands down, one of the best releases of 2024 has to be Deified. Moving on to the next one. This is also another release later on in 2024 from Creed, and it's called Delphinus. Delphinus is 425 bucks. I have to keep reminding myself that that's how much I spent for this bottle, okay? But I'm committed, straight up. And this smells like, to me, it's kind of a mashup between like Nisho's Paragon meets Diorum Intense. It doesn't have the same jammy plum nature, but it's still there. I get this slightly reminiscent to fruity jam, and then also with that incense and the Diorum Iris style vibe DNA. It's a very sexy fragrance that doesn't give me more than about 8 hours, 8.5 hours, which I would assume a little bit more or want a little bit more from the price, but its projection is also that of like 2 feet, low end of moderate. Now for the quality, the scent quality, it's absolutely there, and you're gonna get that Creed signature scent DNA coming from their consistent use of the same oils, etc. So the Creed funk is there. It does smell premium. It absolutely smells expensive. I just wanted a little bit more from its performance. However, for the scent profile, it 100% makes sense. So I can't really say whether or not it's worth it for you, because during my wearing and you know, all that good stuff, I enjoyed it. Do I think it's pricey? Absolutely. It should come down. I don't think that this should be sold for more than like 250 bucks, 300 bucks, you know, but like 450, it's hard to justify it at that price point. Scent profile does smell like a lot of successful fragrances on the market that are niche and designer, that are just done into Creed's bottles. I still think it's fantastic, but performance can be done better. If you have your nose on a lot of those other, you know, niche fragrances, you might not find this one to be that worth it, just because it doesn't really offer anything too much new. Nevertheless, still smells good. I just don't know if it wasn't the best, one of the best releases for sure. Moving on to the next one from Creed, it's Centaurus. Now this one offers something quite unique in terms of these other fragrances, but rather simple as well. A lot of resins and what seems like tobacco and a vanillic undertone. Mature, sexy, close encounter, and warm. I personally like this one a lot more so than Delphinus, just because it's there also for all day, and the richness of the fragrance, offering something that's not necessarily as common as other DNAs. Sure, it has like this more mass appealing factor, but that niche level quality and also how polarizing and intense it goes, it's not like any designer that I personally know of that you can get on the market today. So Centaurus is a better release, in my opinion, than Delphinus. Overall, I think that it was worth it for me to pick it up. It's just very rich, ambery. I love working with resin, specifically myrrh, and that's what it reminds me of. It takes me back home to the myrrh. So Centaurus was a great release this year, and I think it was worth it more so than Delphinus, but I also believe that it's got a more mature scent profile that's going to be appropriate for like dates, special occasions, and office, including the same factors for Delphinus, and that's pretty much it. Moving on to the next release was Versace Aeros Energy, and this came out at the perfect time. I was in Mexico, a couple of other friends in the space, they had a bottle of this and sprayed it on, and it was perfect. It definitely plays a role where you're at, the climate, all that stuff, because if you're not in the summertime, if you're not in the heat, you're not gonna like this shit. It's fresh, it smells like squeezed lemon, it's not intensive or sharp by any means, and Creed Aventus cologne. It smells great. Yeah, there are a lot of Creed Aventus alternatives, but this one has that candied lemon at the top. I personally love it. It lasts for me all day, it projects solidly, and it's compliment getting. It's a no-brainer, easy fragrance for the summertime. I do think that it'll hit discounters, and when it's around like 65, 70 bucks, it's perfect for exactly that. Not show-stopping, nothing brand new, but one of the best ones, plain and simple. It does veer off quite significantly from the Aeros DNA, and I personally would have thought that they would stick closer, but nevertheless, I really enjoy it. I really like it. I think it's one of the best summer releases for the year. There weren't really that many summer releases during 2024, at least that I picked up, and this has to be, although familiar, one of the most enjoyable ones. So a lot of things do play a role in a lot of people's reviews and a lot of the factors, and it's like, where did the reviewer wear it? Where was he doing? What was his mood like? There's so many freaking factors. And then also you, like when you grab one of these, what season was it? When did you wear it? How was your mood? And all of those play a role. Did you eat before you sprayed it? And I'm not even joking. There are a lot of factors to this. In terms of the performance, like I said, it lasted all day, and this is something that you could wear every single day as a signature scent in any season. So for that reason, I think that once it hits discounters, it's definitely great. I personally like it more than Explorer, more than a lot of other fragrances in this realm, and I was very surprised for how a fresh fragrance this fresh lasted that long. On to the next release. This is actually one of the more recent ones. It's called Boss Bottled Absolute, and this is so damn sexy. Patchouli, a little bit spice, some labdanum, leather accord, so sexy. Reminds me a little bit of Boss Bottled Elixir without any of that licorice. It definitely tones it down, makes it a little bit sexier, easier to wear. It's a 10. This one is like a 9.75 just because I put Boss Bottled Elixir at a 10, but it's 100% worth the grab. I started off with a 1.7 ounce that I bought from from Spain for like 250 because I was getting it exclusively before. And the day after I got it, obviously it was available, but I upgraded to a 3 point whatever. Why? Because I gifted the small bottle and it's fantastic. It smells amazing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of its performance, it lasts all day. It projects for like 3 hours. The occasions for this is going to be bros, everything during the fall and the winter time. Boss has stepped their fucking game up, and I'm so happy that they're actually going in a realm that people actually like. I mean, honest to God, like there's so many Boss bottled releases that I think were duds. Personally, I never jumped on the train. The Parfum was good. The Intense Eau de Parfum, yes, it was good. It wasn't my favorite, but that's it. And now they've like revived it, at least for me. I'll be interested to see how they transition now back into like summer scents, because I don't think it was one of their strong suits, at least for me and my taste personally. But they're trending really good. They're trending in a very good direction. So for the price, I mean, even at retail, I'd buy it again. Moving on to the next release that I'm not happy about at all, but a lot of you might enjoy this one. It's called Valentino Born in Roma, the Gold. The reason I'm not happy about it is because it seems very redundant in a world of buying so many new releases, which should be on this list as well. Let me bring it. So this one really reminded me a lot of what they did with 1 Million Gold. So 1 Million Gold is like the fresh, woody take of the whole 1 Million lineup, and kind of goes in a direction of like what Louis Vuitton Lovers was doing. This whole Centaurus 33 freshened up. It's like papyrus, a lot of these fresh aspects, some watery cologne. It's different, it's fresh, it's very rich man smelling. It absolutely is, and that's no different with this one. However, it started to build up a redundancy in my collection, and with a lot of new releases. So what this one basically does is it takes that original Valentino Born in Roma and infuses it with something like 1 Million Gold. So you're still gonna get those citruses, the freshness, and you're just infusing it with some solar notes, right? A synthetic note, it's the sales tactic, I guess, and a bunch of fresh woods, basically. It's as simple as that, and that's what you're getting with this one. And the redundancy would have been okay, but the performance for this was so bad for me. And Eau de Toilette, it's not really that common anymore during, 2024, but even then, some eau de toilettes do perform. So that wasn't the deal breaker. What was the deal breaker was the fact that I didn't get more than about 6 hours out of this, and the projection was pretty sorry. It was only about an hour and a half, and that's simple as that. So if I wanted to go for a scent profile like this, I would rather go for 1 Million Gold, although it wasn't my favorite release. And I think that a lot of people will not enjoy this, especially because the younger crowd is usually who's trending or going towards the 1 Million DNA. And I find this to be more like 27 and up. It's like the mature man who's going to the office. For those people, it's going to be great, but for the masses, I don't think this is going to be one of the popular ones at all. So very subjective, as with all of these reviews are, but for me and my taste personally, I think that it does smell good. It gets close to Louis Vuitton Lovers, but Louis Vuitton Lovers, if I wanted something that's fresh and woody, would be my go-to scent as of its release personally. So yeah, kind of smells like the original 1 Million meets fresh woods, and this one, Valentino Born in Roma, meets fresh woods, but not really the best performance. This one, even then, it's like 8 hours of total performance, and I don't really care for both of these releases. I definitely see an audience for them, specifically 1 Million Gold, but just not for me. Performance, etc., the 1 Million having an edge over the Valentino Born in Roma, and the Born in Roma Gold does add a powdery nuance to it, which does give it more sophistication, but it just doesn't last. Both of them will, however, be great signature scents for the fall and the springtime. They'll be great for that, including the office all year round, or dates and going to school. There's nothing offensive, and it's a very approachable style DNA. But both of them are not really my favorites, and nevertheless, they were new releases for 2024. Moving on to the next appropriate one, Louis Vuitton Lovers, the collab that they did with Pharrell Williams. And I think that this is a very masculine, also 27 and up style scent profile, but it's one of the best fresh sandalwood fragrances on the market today. That cast cologne, the cologne, the chemical compound that adds like this watery capsule, freshen things up, also helps with its projection. It's a beautiful fragrance. If you like masculine, woody, and exuding luxury, it smells like a luxury fragrance. It does not smell cheap whatsoever, and its projection and performance is all day while not being a heavy fragrance, very diffusive. No matter how much you spray of this fragrance, it still stays relatively light. So beautiful perfumery, artistic perfumery, and very calculated, so it seems. You can spray it on about 12 times, and all you're gonna get is a longer lasting fragrance, not heavier lasting fragrance. A beautiful scent profile for those of you who are up 27 and up. It could be a signature scent for the fall time, the springtime, and even the early summertime. Honestly, you could rock it during the summertime and all year round. I think it has the performance to last even during the winter time, and it might be nice for those winter days where it's snowing, etc. It just doesn't have any warmth. It's kind of the dry, fresh sandalwood. I think in terms of one of the best fresh woody fragrances has to go to Louis Vuitton lovers as of today in my collection. So performance check, everything check. The only downside of this is the price, man. It's absolutely insane for the price point, but I can honestly and confidently say that I have nothing else that tops this in its department. I have Santal 33. I definitely see the resemblances, but this one goes a little bit richer, darker, and more date night appropriate. It's not as fresh or light or as diffusive as Louis Vuitton lovers. So yeah, I'd probably wear Santal 33 for the night and Louis Vuitton lovers during the day as a signature scent, but even during the night, it's a great fragrance nevertheless. The only downside of it is going to be the price point, so it's really up to you. I get everything that I wanted from the fragrance. I just wanted a better deal. That's pretty much it. Last but not least, this is called Manera's Amberful, another new release, and it smells like a fresher Ganymede. Simple as that. It's got like this mineralic suede feeling to it with a lot more citruses, probably from the yuzu, pink pepper. It does seem a little bit more transparent and diffusive of a DNA. It almost literally like that sounds like transparent, right? Like you can go through the scent profile. It's just translating into a more diffusive and lighter scent profile, but it's still present, it's still projecting, it's beautiful, and that also leads into a better scent trail because of the fact. So it's more diffusive, it's gonna come off you a little bit harder and better. Amberful does not smell cheap in quality, it doesn't come off cloying or anything like that, as mentioned with the Eternal Woods. And with a lot of Manera fragrances, you have a different spectrum. Some of them are outstanding, some of them are middle line, and then the rest, or the, you know, there's also hits, misses, obviously, right? With every brand and every product. This is a pretty good one. It reminds me of like fresh floral fragrances that they have, like maybe Melody of the Sun meets some of that Ganymede, etc. None of the notes actually have any suede in here, but it's that powdery vibe, or it's the powdery accords that you're going to be getting from the combination of some of those florals in the mid, like the violet, that recreate this textured or fuzzy powdery style leather, aka suede. So that's what you're going to get with this. It's actually a lot less mineralic and more of a natural take on that whole Ganymede DNA, and those are the aspects that I don't like about Ganymede, is the mineral. It comes off synthetic, slightly metallic. This one does away with that and takes a more natural approach because of the use of florals, fresh, spicy citruses, and powdery. Powdery enough to give you that recreation of a suede accord. Really like it. I don't know if it's a love yet. I'm gonna be living with it a little bit more so. It's one of the more newer releases or additions to my collections, so stay tuned for that future video. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. These are the newest releases of 2024 rated. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.